Hey, I'm Catherine Harrington, and welcome to Tentpeg TV, connecting you to your local Christian community. Today in the studio with me, I have my dear friend Peter Sinish. And Peter is a chef with a nonprofit organization called Mercy Chefs, and so we're going to find out about that today. It is a nonprofit, faith-based organization committed to serving high-quality, professionally prepared meals during local, state, and national, either disasters or emergencies. And the team serves several states throughout the United States. They're already established there. And because we live in South Carolina, I thought it'd be kind of interesting. We do have hurricanes here, right, Peter?
Certainly do.
It would be nice to know, should a disaster hit our area, hopefully not, we would know to contact Peter, and he would be able to bring a team here to serve us wonderfully professional meals. Chef Gary LeBlanc, I believe,
Yes.
was the one who got a vision for this while he was leading a team of responders in Hurricane Katrina. But I'm kind of interested, Peter, in how you first off, how you heard about it, because I think it's just absolutely fabulous program, and then how you got involved. So start with that.
Well, I had first heard about it when the island of Haiti got hit. And so I called up Gary, and I did not know him, just knew of Mercy Chefs. First thing going out of his mouth was, "Do you have a passport?" "No." "Well, you can't do a thing, Peter. Thank you very much."
Oh, wow.
And 3 years later,
Oh.
I got in contact with him again. And that was about 3 months before Sandy.
Which
And
is up in New York area.
up in New York when Sandy hit New York. And so he told me, "Yes, you are on the list." And Sandy hit, and I got a call. And he says, "Come to New York, please."
Could you tell me what are the qualifications of being able to join this kind of a team? Because do you have to be a chef? I mean, do you have to be an established chef?
No, there are 9 of us established chefs throughout the country. The rest are all volunteers that come in. Some are chefs and some aren't. We have a gentleman coming out of Louisiana. It's just he loves backing us, and he's at every deployment.
Okay, so if I wanted to get involved, I mean, all I would have to do was contact you. and say-
Be better to contact Mercy Chefs,
Mercy Chefs.
because we have a whole volunteer system,
Mhm.
and a woman out of Brunswick, Georgia, will get hold of you and put you on a volunteer list.
So I was a gourmet caterer, you know that, on off-premise gourmet caterer. So I really know what it means to try to do an undertaking of this sort. I mean, we've served 250 people under a tent on somebody's property, so I know what it's like to set the cook tent on fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how does
Don't we all know those things? Yeah.
you know, just lots of fun, but what it's like to get rid of all of the garbage, what it's like to organize all of the staff, all of the people, how you get transportation there and everything. So tell me exactly, I mean, it's such a huge undertaking. Do you how does that work, Peter? I mean, how do you here's an area that's been devastated. How do you converge on this area?
Let's use more Oklahoma for an example.
Sure.
Where all the tornadoes hit. We got a call from Gary. Gary makes all of our decisions on where to go. He's based out of Virginia Beach. He calls or texts 9 of us, just across text, "Can you make it 2 more?" And we even say yes or no. It's our total decision. Within hours, there's a plane ticket for us, and we're flown directly in.
They pay your transportation
Yes.
to get there?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And once we get there, we have 3 trucks now scattered throughout the country. One in Virginia Beach, one in Houston, Texas, and the other one in Dallas.
So when you say, what are they exactly?
These are mobile 30-foot commissary kitchen trucks.
Full service.
Full service.
What do they got inside? Just tell me.
They have
'cause I'm so excited about that.
They have a convection oven, a double convection oven. We're very speedily cooking. We have a 6 burners, and then we have a tilt skillet that
That's
the tilt
cool.
skillets, which it's a big. How do you describe a tilt skillet?
The skillet.
It's
yeah.
it's a skillet that just rises up, and so if you're cooking, baking, whatever, all the food just comes out.
That's awesome.
3-bay sinks, refrigeration, The whole 9
Wow,
yards.
that is,
Yeah.
and you've got 3 of those.
3 of those.
Throughout the United States.
And then one is a 60-foot full kitchen. That is just amazing.
I get excited,
Yeah.
Peter, just
Oh,
thinking
oh,
about that, you know, because it's been a long time since I've done a catering thing.
It's incredible. We pulled into New York City about a year after Sandy to do a street party. We always come back to the where we were just to celebrate a victory for them.
Well, that's awesome.
So we're in Lower East Side, did a picnic or street party for about 5,000 people for 3 hours.
Oh my
and
goodness.
just seeing this 60-foot truck coming in and just working at it was fantastic.
So now,
immediately after the storm, we were here serving people. So today we got to come back and do a Lower East Side block party with the 8 churches that we worked with during the storm.
We're sitting right now in the shadow of the power plant that flooded in Manhattan and exploded and caused the blackout in Manhattan. This entire residential area that we're serving today was underwater, and we're in a low-income housing project, so for the most part, the people who live here did not have options, other places they could go in advance of the storm.
It's pretty remarkable to me that Mercy Chefs would be willing to come back. I mean, I know that they had a heart to serve. I saw that on display during the hurricane relief back in October and November of last year, of 2012. But to know that they wanted to come back to partner with us again, that means everything to me in terms of how well we work together. But the important part to me is that they wanted to come back and serve this community.
Slide to the right. Crisscross. Crisscross. Cha-cha, real smooth. Let's go to work. Y'all know what it is. Come on. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. 2 hops this time. 2 hops this time.
I think what comes to mind and thinking about the day are just all the faces, the happy faces that we see today, as opposed to those same faces 9 months ago that had that 1,000-yard stare. They're recovering, they're jubilant today. It was a time of great celebration.
well, let's go back to something like Oklahoma, where they were so devastated by all those tornadoes, or you know, or a Katrina, or you know, a Sandy, a storm that just devastates. People are without power. They have no refrigeration. They have no food. There's ice is gone. Everything is gone.
Everything is
and
gone.
you have, let's say, a city even like New York City, where there's what, I don't know, 3 million people. I don't know, but there's a lot of people in New York City. So when you go there, are you just giving them food, Peter?
No.
Okay,
No, that's,
so you know, I mean, it's
that's-
mercy. I hear the word mercy there.
That's just the how we get in. We use food as a vehicle for ministry.
Okay.
I am the what do they call it? Here? Read the
What do you
back.
like, the chaplain?
Here, read that. What does that say?
See, I knew it before you even said it.
What does
See,
that say?
it
Chaplain,
says chaplain.
chaplain.
Peter, you're the chaplain?
Yes.
All
And
right.
they basically said, Peter, get out of here, get out of the kitchen, and just go wander.
So once you have gotten everybody, all the food's all
Food's
taken care of,
going,
and so you take care of their physical needs.
Yes.
And then we move on to.
We minister. We are a non-denominational ministry. We always are under another ministry.
What do you mean by that?
We do not come in there to represent ourselves. We represent a local church.
Okay.
So therefore, because we feel very strongly the local church is the place where ministry should take place. We're just running alongside of it as an apostolic prophetic ministry,
Okay. So
helping them establish themselves.
because once you leave a city, then you're hoping that that ministry, this is how I would think, you're hoping that that ministry then would bring those people into a relationship with the Lord, and then they
Yes.
would get established in that local
Yes,
community,
in
of
that local church.
local body
Yes.
of believers. And I think that is really awesome. So not only do you feed them their bodies, you're doing that, but you're also spiritually helping them, because it must be, I mean, the stories you must hear, the things you must see. I don't know how you do it. I remember when the towers came down. You know, I lived on Long Island at that point, at that time, and even from the beach, you could see, still see the smoke coming up, and it was absolutely devastating. Some of my neighbors lost family members, and you know, just to try to minister to them a disaster like that, you know, we're not equipped with that. You know, we're not, you know, we're not soldiers. And so when something happens tragic like that, we really need answers to difficult questions. You know, why does this stuff happen? And so now you come under a church, and it's non-denominational, but you still preach Jesus?
Oh yes, oh yes. And a lot of the churches that we're under, we're Baptist churches invite us, Church of God's invite us. We're all Jesus. That's all it is.
So is the connection first, Peter, from the local church that calls Gary, or
Yes.
is that how it works?
Yes.
In other words, because we're here, let's say maybe the Father's house would call and say, we've had a hurricane down here. Gary, would you send a team?
Yeah.
And then Gary would do just what you said,
Yep.
and then that would be that. That is really awesome.
There-
We hope we don't have to ever use you, Peter.
No, it's really interesting. National disasters to us is sort of we don't want it, but yet we like to do it. You know?
That's
It's
rough. Yeah. That's
it's,
funny, Peter.
It's when we're out in Moore. We were within 3 football fields of the school that went down.
Okay. Oh, man.
The church
Peter.
that we were under, we were out there for 9 days.
Yeah.
And you walk away just totally, you come back into this reality, and you're bouncing back and forth. Which reality is really true? Because you're out there working for 12, 15 hours a day, serving thousands of people. What's an electric bill?
Yeah, right.
You know, what it doesn't, let's get out to minister to people.
Yeah. Well, I think, and then that's wherever there's the Lord's heart, and certainly He wants to share. He wants to bring comfort to people, and how else is He going to do it except through His people? I mean, that we are the expression of Christ here on the earth. We are His ministers of reconciliation, of comfort, of care, of everything that God is and that He wants to be to people. So, so what a wonderful opportunity that you have to do that. And so you could be gone for a length of time. You just said 9 days you were there. And just, I would imagine, though, you've really got to be a solid believer, mature believer, in order to be able to handle that kind of ministry, because not only is it physically demanding, you're working 12, 13, 15 hours, prepping food and serving food and cleaning up and all of that it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're serving thousands of people. But then you add on top of that the heartbreak, the heartbreak.
I think also, because we deal with so many volunteers, that 30, 40 volunteers show up on a daily basis, and we have no idea where they're coming from mentally or physically or spiritually. So it's a whole mixture. You become so involved in that moment, and then you have to make sure that the volunteers are having a positive experience of feeding thousands of people. So it's all sides of it.
That's awesome, Peter. Well, I'm so happy that you're involved in that, and I was just thrilled to hear that my good friend Peter was doing something, number one, that you're excellent at, that you love to do, and that, of course, whenever we give out, whenever we give, we get back.
Sure.
It's just a thing.
No,
You sow, you reap. You
reap.
sow, you reap. And so when you sow compassion and love and kindness and mercy to people, it comes back to you.
So that's why you have to put up with me?
All the time. It's terrible tasks, horrible, wicked tasks. Not quite. I do want to mention something else, though, Peter, because you're involved in a lot of things, not just Mercy Chefs. Peter. Well, actually, I just love Peter. Peter is just full of the joy of the Lord. Has been for I don't know how many
30 years.
30 years and going strong.
Yes.
So there's a lot to glean from somebody who has been walking with the Lord that long. And I also, he's got a little nickname for Peter. I don't know if he knows it, but I call him Mr. Happy Feet, because he's always like dancing in church, and he's just so in love with the Lord continuously, and I so appreciate that. But also, Peter, down here at the beach, he helps local places with he has wonderful, absolutely wonderful desserts, and you were also, you had something to do with Crady's, right? At one time, yeah. So
I was consulting that.
it was consulting for their food, but I'm really excited because I want to share. Peter did. It's a cookbook for children. It's called The Kids Cookbook with Chef Peter. And I just think that I was so surprised when I saw it on Facebook. I thought, Peter wrote a book. And so look at this. This is so fabulous. He had it So look, I used a knife as a bookmark. See, anyway, look at this home-style chicken fajitas, and it's all illustrated. Big print, big block print, easy instructions, easy ingredients that the kids can follow, and they can learn how to cook. And which is a very positive thing that they can do, something they can do with their parents, and it begins to show them that there's a world, even young boys can enjoy making themselves a fajita or a quesadilla or something. So Peter, tell me, how'd you get started with this? I mean, like you don't have enough to do.
It started about 2 years ago when I was flat on my back having a hernia recovery.
Okay.
And Father said, write a cookbook. And so started off with the kids cookbook and took it from there. It was interesting because when it was published, someone asked me, why did you write a kids cookbook? I don't know. So Daddy, Father, why did I write this? And he said, Peter, because it's a platform to get families back together in the house.
That's good, Peter.
And that's the foundation. That's the
good.
platform that this book is being sold on.
That's awesome.
Just that kids can start coming back to the home
Well,
and cooking.
I know that family time at the dinner table is a kind of one of those things that's almost completely lost
Yes.
during, nowadays, soccer, this, that, everybody's busy, parents are working, and to have a family actually come together for mealtime is very unusual. So to have them cook together is a great way for them to start to do that.
It's fellowship.
It's communion too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I know my husband recently was ill for quite a while and actually could not take any food or drink by mouth, and so he was unable to join us at the dinner table. Even though, I mean, it would be torturous for him to sit there and watch us eat. And I tell you, it really did take away from our relationship because that's a time when we talk and we have fellowship with one another. We talk about our day, with issues, and so it was a very challenging time in our lives. So I was thrilled to see this book. And now, Peter, if people wanted to get in touch with you, first off, get in touch with you as far as Mercy Chefs, would they contact you?
Contact myself at petersinish@aol.com.
Okay.
And the cookbook, you can go to my Facebook, which is the Kids Cookbook, or else you can go to my website, which is chefpetersinish.com.
Very cool. So, Peter, is there anything you'd like to kind of, you know what? I do have one thing I do want before we finish. One absolutely over-the-top, incredible, memorable experiences that you had while you're working at Mercy Chefs.
Probably the third day that I was with Mercy Chefs. We were in just south of Coney Island, and I was out walking the streets about 6:30 in the morning, just seeing what's happening. Totally pitch black, apartment buildings, totally black, and this little old lady is walking up the street carrying one of those push carts, and so I stopped and talked to her, and she's in her 60s maybe. And I said, what's going on? She said, I used to live on the fourth floor of the apartment building, and this is all I have.
Wow.
And it hit me why I'm doing what I do there. For people like that, just to feed them, just to comfort them with the love of the Lord.
That's awesome.
Right there.
That's pretty awesome.
And then we turned around and fed something like 35,000 people that day. Or 3,500, excuse me.
Just a few people.
Just a few.
Well, 3,500 can feel like 35,000 when you're in a thing. Yeah. So, thank you so much, Peter, for coming and sharing Mercy Chefs with us. Thank you for sharing your cookbook. And mostly thank you for sharing your heart. And just remember, we just want you to remember, whatever situation you find yourself in, the Lord is there to provide for you. He is your provider, no matter what. We don't have to wait on anything else. The Lord sends help to those that He loves.
Yes.
He sends help. And so thanks a lot, Peter, for coming in and for joining us today. And there'll be contact information at the end of this program. And thanks a lot for tuning in to Tentpeg TV. And
thank you
Peter,
so
thanks
much.
a lot for coming, my friend.
Enjoyed.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
So,
yes,
all right.
yes.
We love you all. See you soon.
See you.